So many of you that watch me know that I was raised by a Marine reconnaissance operator that actually fought on the DMZ in 67, 68. And when he came home after they dug an AK round out of his right leg, an AK round out of his left bicep, still has grade frag all inside of his neck right now that still goes off when he goes through a metal detector. And bullet went through the center of his right hand, took off his middle finger and caused it to collapse. And so when he got home, he didn't know how to raise me. So he decided, well, the only thing I knew that changed my life was Marine boot camp. So I went to 18 years of boot. And you can sit there and go, oh, wow, poor you. That's child abuse or whatever. Yeah, sometimes I thought it was, but I'll tell you what, in a situation like we're at today, this is not a drill. This is no joke. And if you're still sitting around here crying because your luxuries have been taken from you, crying because your ability to move around and socialize with other people is being restricted, this mitigation strategy that we're doing right now is soft. And if you look at the statistical analysis that I put in my Facebook feed called Hammer and Dance, that's a statistical guy from Stanford University that's smarter than every one of you on here, okay? Smarter than me. And this guy is showing us that mitigation is not going to stop this contagious infection. The only thing to do is something like as heavy a suppression like the Chinese did that turned it in a matter of weeks to 0 new counts. Now, the problem that we have right now, if you're paying attention, is we don't have enough PPE gear, that's personal protection gear for healthcare staff. We don't have enough masks, and we don't have enough ventilators. We don't have enough hospitals, beds, room space, and everything. And if you look at New York right now, that should scare the living hell out of you when they're taking a huge convention center and they're working 24 hours a day right now to convert that because they see what's happening with the trend. So what's happening right now is we're past a state of alarm. This is a state of war. The problem is we can't see the enemy. We can't put our target on it. The problem is that this enemy is insidious. It comes in by something that we touch, through droplets that you sneeze, cough, through different things that have the contagion on them, and they're everywhere. And the infection is here, and all of us are going to get it. They're talking about a 40 to 70% infection contagious rate. Then the other deal is as well, is it just going to be a mild flu? Is it a critical type flu where you actually need to be hospitalized, or you get to be part of that 1 to 3, maybe 4% that actually die? The scary stats that's coming out yesterday is what we're dealing with in the United States is not the same as China was dealing with, where the mortality was all weighted toward the elderly, geriatrics, so the 70 and 80 years old. Our highest infection rate, and I don't know if it's the mortality rate as well, is 18 to 52. So that includes me, so that includes you. So what are we going to do? Well, I've already been telling you that you should have been drilling. And if you haven't been drilling, well, you need to start drilling because the enemy is already here. It's already inside the walls. And if you don't create a stronger respiratory system by stressing yourself, yes, you have to create a level of stress to get stronger. And if you're not breathing heavy, then you are weak. And you are going to be a target for this because probably if you're not exercising and maintaining your fitness, you're probably also not watching your diet. You're eating too much sugar. You're not taking the other types of mineral supplements that you are. And you're probably eating way too many carbs. That means you're probably fat, excessively fat, probably morbidly obese fat. So that means that you're a target. You're the first one it's coming for, because if you've got sugar in your system, that's exactly what it's looking for. So what do you got to do? You got to start drilling now, and you got to start getting serious about this. And this 6-foot separation, you need to go and start self-policing. You need to police yourself so that you move to an environment where you're not just 6 foot away from people. You shouldn't be in the public at all. You should be in an environment where if you're outside like I am right now, you're out here to train, but there's nobody out here. There's no soldiers out here. There's no people. This is a civilian environment, okay? Everybody's at home right now with their thumb in their mouth, watching Ellen or, playing Crybaby, okay? This is something that's for real. And the way you meet an enemy is you meet it by being stronger, and you meet it on the battlefield facing it. One-on-one, mano and mano, okay? How do you go to do that? Well, you got to stop your crime. And number two, you got to start taking the resources that you have right now and start paying attention to the kind of things that you're building up as your reserve, because this could easily go more than 2 weeks. This 15-day BS that Trump's talking about right now. Now, I think best case scenario, we're probably talking 30 to 60 days, and we're going to have to go to a tighter, stronger lockdown, more like a suppression lockdown where there's no movement. The stuff that we're doing in the Western world isn't working right now. So we're going to see mass graves like they have in Iran right now. That's coming. That's coming. This is not a joke. This is not a drill. Like my old man used to say, when he ran me out there when we were doing PT for football and he was running our two-a-days, he would say, this is a drill. This is a drill. You always are going to play the game like you practice. And then when we get out there on Friday, then he would tell us before we walked onto the field, this is not a drill. This is the game. This is the real thing. You need to take the guy in front of you and not be his friend. You need to be his worst enemy. You need to knock him on his ass. And you need to make him remember your number. That's all he needs to do is go away from this. So with that level of intensity, that's what I'm saying to you right now, except you're not able to actually see who the enemy is. The enemy is something that's almost invisible at the microscopic level. So what we have to do is start being smarter. How do you get smarter? You have to educate. You have to train. You have to read and study educated people, not people that are trying to hype, not talk show hosts, not people from Hollywood that are just nothing but actors and air brains that got no soldier strength inside of them. This is where you've got to get tough. This is your opportunity to shine. This is your opportunity to show our children that we are not luxurious, weak Corinthians, but that we actually still have inside of us that thing that we were born with 235, 240 years ago that made us Spartan strong. That's the way we beat this, is acting in a functional, necessity, brilliant mindset where we deal with momentary discomfort and we suck it up and we stop our crying so that we're able to go back and enjoy the kind of lifestyle that we deserve, and that we can make our children and our future able to look back on this as something that is legendary instead of something that is an embarrassment.